Okay, looks like we are being live streamed. And here we go. We got it. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Angie Atkinson, and I'm here with the lovely and talented Lise Colucci. Lise, welcome back.
Hi. I don't know why you look frozen.
Oh, you sure do. Oh, there you are.
Is that a,
Took you a minute, but yeah.
am I frozen or is it you? Let me check my.
It could be me. It kind of looks like maybe it's you. I don't know if anybody's here.
You know what? It's me. I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay. Well, feel free to yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Angie Atkinson. You just saw Lise there. So Lise will be back. Anyway, today we thought we would talk about letting narcissists underestimate you and why you would even think to do that. If you are interested in the notes on the stream and how to get in touch with us and everything else, please check that description below. You will see all of the notes you need for the whole stream. And hello to our 2 admin and 3 admin in the house. First to comment. Thank you, guys. UNA, LNC, and Christine Schwartz. We are grateful to have you here. Thank you. All right, everybody. So, oh, look at Michael. He says, yes, great topic. I did this before without fully understanding narcissism that I was dealing with. Right. Hi, Julia. So here's what happens. When you are in a relationship with a narcissist, even if it's just like a working relationship and not like a personal one.
Oh, yeah.
Very often, welcome back.
Hi.
Very often you find yourself feeling sort of not seen, right? Because narcissists tend to, in general, underestimate us, right? They tend to tell us we aren't good enough, we're not enough, we don't have enough, smart, we're not enough pretty, we're not enough handsome, whatever it is that they think we're not enough of. And I found, so inevitably, first they're going to go after your insecurities, so they might, make a point of reminding me how much everybody's body is better than mine, for example. Or they might, whatever it is, whatever you have going on that is your insecurity. I am short and not super skinny, so I've always struggled in that area a little bit, but then here's the thing. Once you get past that and you start to not care when they're saying those things, then what do? Well, they go after something that you know for sure is true about yourself. For example, I've always known I'm pretty smart. That's the one thing I never doubted until the narcissist came after me and told me how not smart I was. Now, it didn't work because I was obviously smarter than him. Ha, just kidding. But I really did feel some kind of way about it. Like, how dare you go after the one thing I knew about myself, right? So I wonder, Lise, have you experienced having a narcissist underestimate you before?
Oh, all the time. It's often subtle, like it's in the way they devalue you and you realize, oh my gosh, they think I'm stupid, or
right, like how dare they?
They're that much better than me. They literally think that.
Yeah.
And when they're gaslighting and they are projecting, and you get the sense of like, oh, they're really underestimating me. They really think I don't know what's going on here.
Right.
It's that feeling.
Offensive.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, it is. And we have the urge to combat it or to prove ourselves.
Right. And I did for a long time. I would try to fight it, especially the part that I knew was true. Like if they told me I was unattractive, I would have to admit that I thought that was true also back in the day. And of course, just like everybody else, when you look at yourself back in the day and you look at yourself today, you might realize that you were far less unattractive than you thought, right?
I know, right? You're like, wait.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
But at some point, you get exhausted emotionally and otherwise with the stuff. And so I would fight with them when they would try to gaslight me, for example. If they would say, well, this is what happened, and I knew for sure that was not what happened, I had to talk about it, whoever they were. And it got me in a lot of trouble as a kid, a lot, because I used to joke and say I couldn't stand there and listen to BS and not comment on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I had to, especially if I knew for sure, like, well, that's not what happened, And at some point, you get to this point where you just go, whatever. Okay, sure, I said that. Sure, I did that. Whatever. And that's, for me, that wasn't until adulthood. But I was just so emotionally exhausted that I was like, forget it. And then I realized there's a certain amount of power in allowing myself to be underestimated by a narcissist. Because I think the one Achilles heel they have is they actually believe that they're smarter and better than you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if you let them believe that, and for sure something else is true. I mean, and maybe they are smarter in certain areas, right? Like maybe they know how to do some complex thing that you don't know how to do, but they don't know basic human nature most of the time. They don't really know, and they understand maybe how to flatter someone or manipulate someone, but they don't get how intuitive you really are, right?
Mm-hmm,
Can you recognize them? Yeah. So
yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's like if you if they are thinking you're stupid, but really you're quite intelligent, and if you argue with it and you engage in the gaslighting that they're doing to you, and the the twisting of your reality, then you're so lost in that world that you don't realize by letting them think you're stupid when you do something and they're like, well, you're stupid, and you're like, guess so. But
yeah,
really in the back of but really what's going on in your mind is you're finding a way out, or you're finding a way to work around them, or you're finding a way to just sort of, you're going to shut the door so that you can just keep doing you.
right. And what it comes
Right.
down to is, by talking to them and trying to prove yourself to them, one of two things is going to happen: either that, or you're going to come on the other side and you're going to be used, like they're going to come at you and do this, do that, whatever they have for you. And then if or when you play dumb, or you choose to not do the thing, or what, hold on, I'm off track. I'm trying to explain. So when you have a certain amount of, if you allow them to think whatever they want to think about you, and recognizing that that is their Achilles heel, then you can find out things. You can learn things about them. You can, for example, you might know that they're cheating with you on Becky down the street, or whatever, with Becky down the street. And then you might think to yourself, well, do I tell them, or do I watch and see what happens, right? Maybe you watch. Maybe you don't tell them until you have sufficient proof, or whatever it happens to be. What I'm saying is they essentially are, not that I'm saying you should ever manipulate anyone, but if you did choose to manipulate them in order to make them be nice to you, or make them, not bother you so much as you're getting out, or make them be nice to you when you're dealing with them after you get out because you have kids with them or whatever, this is what you can do. Let them think you're dumb, or whatever they want to think about you, and let them try to manipulate you. And then only allow yourself to be manipulated if it benefits you, or if it's not a big deal to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, about
well, it's what you're manipulating is your own reality. You're not manipulating them.
Correct.
That's the thing. And we all manipulate our own reality, whether we like it or not. Whether we know we're doing it or not, we're all making choices that shift our reality, which is the true word of manipulation, right? The true meaning to take something and change it, right? So the way we make change is to manipulate our reality in a positive way, and sometimes ignoring, basically gray rocking the nonsense, but at the same time, more than gray rocking, going a step further and thinking, actually, it's a good thing they think that of me.
Right.
Because then I can actually be me over here without them even knowing I'm intelligent or attractive or whatever the thing is.
Right.
So that they're not, and then if they underestimate it, you have power.
Power, right.
Yeah.
Because the bottom,
for your own life, not for them. Who cares, right?
Exactly. Because I think what it comes down to is that, at least from my situations that I've been in, what happens is that when you stop fighting with them and arguing with them, number one, they don't know what to do. But number two, it ends things faster. So the emotional torture. Okay, fine. I am stupid. You don't have to say it, but you can if you want to. But just agree with them. Oh, you're right. That maybe I really am. I don't know. Or don't respond to it. But my point is, if you sit and you waste your energy arguing with someone who will not be deterred from their little personal smear campaign against you, even if it's just at first between the two of you, you're wasting your time and your energy, on somebody who doesn't deserve it. It's like, I use this comparison all the time, but it's legit. It's like banging your head against a brick wall and trying to explain something to someone on the other side who's speaking a different language. It's like, don't talk to brick walls, I guess. Yeah. Does that ring true for you, Lise?
Yeah, you can't, there isn't any, well, first of all, they're not telling you this underestimated version of you so that you can prove yourself to them.
Oh,
They're
God,
telling
no.
you that to tell you what they think of
Well, if,
you and to
mhm,
keep you in a diminished or beneath them state, because
mhm,
that's where they need you. They've
yeah,
devalued you. At that point, they're devaluing. It's not a friend saying, hey, um, you said you wanted to work out. If you do this and you'd lose a
right.
little bit of weight with me, or you'd lose the
Mhm,
weight you're asking. It's not someone trying to help you improve yourself because you've asked for. This is someone
right.
that said, you're to this, you're to that.
Mhm, yeah. And
Okay.
then,
And
yeah,
yeah, let it
right.
yeah. So
And
it's
it's
so
even
why
like,
are we arguing? We're arguing, yeah, like we're fighting it because we want we want their approval, and we want the validation of them thinking that we're not the bad thing they say
yes,
that we are.
yeah,
And so we got to let go of that, because they're never going to be the person that is safe in a relationship.
exactly. But they show you, see, when they say those things to you, very often they're actually projecting their own insecurities onto you,
Oh
which
yeah,
is ironic
of
and
course.
hilarious.
Mhm.
And not hilarious, but it feels, in hindsight, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
During
it's
the,
either that or they're showing where they think they're superior. It's one of the, right? It's like they're either projecting 100%, like all of
right,
their insecurities onto you, or they're showing their delusion of
yeah,
how much better they think they are.
right. And either way, again, fighting it just makes it last longer. And so for me, I learned very quickly, if they want to think I'm stupid, then I should let them, because it does not, it doesn't hurt me in the end.
Mhm.
And as Lise said, you can absolutely use it to your advantage if you choose to. And
Mhm.
sometimes it helps to be able to have a little leverage where you need it, you know.
Mhm.
And if you do happen to make some miracle thing happen, you can always play dumb and pretend, like, this is terrible, but like, this happened to me once. I figured out how to pay the mortgage when we had nothing, when I was with my ex. And he was like, "Oh my God, blah, blah, blah." And I don't know if he said I was smart, but he said something like resourceful or something. And how'd you do it? I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I just called all these people and something just, uh,
It just
whatever."
happened. Yeah, you don't want to
Right,
give your secrets away. That's for sure.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, I think what it comes down to is, when you let them underestimate you, you are choosing battle. You're picking battles, because honestly, what they think of you isn't going to change anyway, and they're probably going to think you're dumber and think less of you if you argue with them, because they're that kind of toxic, right? And so
Mhm.
if you just, okay, sure, I guess that's true. I never thought of it that way. Because they'll
Mhm.
say things like, "I'm only telling you this because I care about you. I think you need help," or whatever,
Yeah.
like you're crazy, or
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
and if you there's nothing else, the only thing you can say when they say that is, "That's not true," or, "Sure, I agree." And if you say that that's not true, the fact of the matter is that anyone who is being told something like that would probably say that's not true, right? So
Mhm.
they could just use that against you. Anyway, any other things before we jump into the chat, Lise?
This one is related. This question is related to what we're talking about. So I was gonna
Go ahead.
just CR is asking, why did they think their opinion's so important?
Oh, because they are self-important. Because,
Because they are so important in their own
yeah.
minds, right? No, it's yeah.
Well, my I have an example for you. So one person I know, they are a narcissist, and they were brought up in a home where for a long time they were the only child, and the mother hung on every word.
Oh yeah.
She did
Mhm.
not abuse the kid at all, but hung on every word. And the kid became an adult who now expects everyone around them to hang on every word. See? So there were other circumstances to cause the narcissism, but that in itself was one experience. I think the flip side of that is someone feeling completely unheard and then stepping into adulthood demanding it,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
What do you think?
I think they think they're so important. Well, part of, if we're talking NPD, not
Mm-hmm.
just someone who's toxic, but someone with narcissistic personality disorder, part of that disorder is a delusional mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
so and another part of that disorder is delusions of grandeur. So if
Right.
someone, it's literally part of the way the brain functions when someone has NPD,
Yeah.
is to think you are better than everyone else. to literally think you're better than everyone else, to block off any option or opportunity for anyone else to have any importance other than yourself. They
Yes.
they don't have empathy for other people in other than an awareness of empathy or cognitive type of empathy. So
Right.
they don't care what you think and feel. They can understand it on some levels, but they can't,
Mhm.
they don't feel for you. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And so why would it matter what you think? All that
Right. They
matters is what
genuinely,
they
yeah.
think. And if the and so and then they need to be important because they need the attention. They need the supply
Mhm.
coming toward them in
Yeah.
order for them to feel like a whole human being.
Exactly. They literally, I mean, it's shocking to me sometimes how blatantly they will come at you, really thinking that what they're saying is totally legitimate, but really it's it's something you've never heard from another human sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
they're so self-focused and entitled. And it's
Self-focused and entitled, yes.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And they really believe that they're like, well, why wouldn't you do this and this and this and this relationship? And you're like, well, you don't do this, that, and that. That would warrant me doing this, that, and this, whatever,
Right, right.
And they go, well, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about your problems. We're talking about
Oh
my
yeah.
problems or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Like
Huh?
they have an amazing ability to both segment events in their minds and also, when it's convenient for them, to connect completely unrelated events
Oh
in
yeah.
any case to bring
And
forth their
yeah, and to
argument.
twist the events that are happening to be self-focused or externally directed as needed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Peggy says they do that big time, underestimate us. She said, then they help, then when they find out, they drop their jaws. It's comical how surprised they are. True. All true. Yeah. And CR says that, oh, it's great to be at a place where people understand the craziness of dealing with narcissists. Thanks. Happy to serve. Hey, dude, trust me. All right. Do you have wait, I might have a question. Hold on. Oh, it's CR says, it's a shame when you have a talent you're proud of. Where'd it go? Darn it. Okay. Well, I just lost it. Oh, wait, here it goes. Okay. It's a shame when you have a talent you're proud of, but would never share with the narcissist because you know they'll ruin the whole event. Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, the day that I got my first book published and proof copies came in the mail, I was so happy and excited. And I called my mother to tell her, and she had to hurry up and get off the phone. She's very busy. And then a few hours later is the day that it's the same day that that CPS worker she sent to my house came over. They ruined the whole thing. But lucky me, I kept going. So Peggy, oh, she said I used to fight them underestimating me. Now just the opposite. And Ellen agrees. I like being underestimated. Same.
Yeah.
And I like this comment, and then I'm going to ask you to give us one. Ellen said, it's almost like a game of chess. I used to draw them out and think ahead by 3 moves. I love it.
That was what I was going to read too. Yeah, that's a good one.
100%.
Yeah, it is. I was thinking of that when I was thinking the same thing when you were talking about how this is like a chess move to hold back your reaction to them underestimating you.
Yeah.
So that you know, as long as you hold on to knowing who you are. I know I'm intelligent. I know I'm decent looking. I know I'm pretty.
Right.
Whatever people think, right, about themselves.
Right.
I know that I am a worthy person. If you can hold on, and I know that they beat this down and like destroy this in us. But as you try to heal, or if you haven't gotten this far yet, where they have, you know, then if you can hold on to that piece of like, that so doesn't match my reality, then you have that as a tool, especially when it's people in the workplace, when it's not someone in your intimate personal life. It's very difficult in your intimate personal life. But if it's like a distant relative, I remember with my narcissistic grandparent, I was this way with him. I just didn't let him know. I mean, it was, you know, he was a malignant, overt narcissist. He would sit there with the television on and there was some televangelical guy, whatever, some guy that was religious man on television, and he liked to watch. He didn't watch for the man's message. He watched because the man had pretty women that stood around him. And he, okay, it wasn't about the pretty women. This is what he said. He said, if I were in that chair, those women would love for me to be there. I'm like, what are you doing? What? That's how you watch television? Like what? That's showing like, right? So everything he said was a projection or a devaluing towards someone. And I had just had a baby and he said, he was like, "You look fat." And I thought, okay, I brought you a baby. She's 2 weeks old, dude. Like you're an old man. I brought her here an hour away at 2 weeks old while I'm still recovering. You're welcome,
Right.
is what I'm thinking. And I'm
Right.
like, wait, he's devaluing my looks. Why do I care what this man thinks of my looks?
Seriously.
Right. And then he
Right.
started devaluing my intelligence, telling me I wasn't doing something right or something else. So I said, Grandpa, I may be dumb and fat, but you are so old and that will never change. I was just like, but because at that point I used my intelligence to just sort of end it. He just sort of,
Right.
and yeah. So it's that they will do this. We can't let it get to us. It doesn't matter.
Right.
These external people, when they're right in your life, this is more difficult. Right?
Yes.
Because
100%.
this becomes a daily gray rocking thing. And you're like, who am I? Am I what they think? Am I what I think? And right. Yeah.
It's outrageous. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing that it's like there's nothing.
Whoops, sorry.
No worries. It's like there's nothing that you can possibly do to make them, to see. They cannot see you. They will not see you. And the truth is, they saw you before. And sometimes they still see you when it's convenient for them. They know that you're attractive. They know that you're intelligent. They know that you're capable because they don't usually get someone who's not very smart and who's not very pretty or handsome. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a matter of, oh, here you go. As Peggy says, it doesn't faze them when you try to prove that you're capable and intelligent. When they realize it on their own, it blows their minds, right? See, I think some of them already knew it, but they forgot because they devalued you.
Oh,
right?
They do know it. That's why they wanted you in the first place. They don't want empty shells. They don't want unintelligent, unattractive people. They want they want intelligence.
Yeah.
They can show up to others and devalue it and control it. Right?
Yeah, look who I got. Look who I got. Yeah. 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 And then on the flip side of that, what's really hilarious about it is that, okay, this is kind of mean, but I once told my ex, you need a dumb girl. Because you need somebody who's going to just follow you around and sit in the closet and wait till you get home to follow you around some more. Because I mean, this is not what I do. This is not who I am, And he's quite offended by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need a mannequin is what they need. They need a non-human mannequin that they can program say things.
Right. Right. Because I mean, there's not really anybody anyway, but like they need one of those dolls.
Yeah. There's no one that empty and vacuous enough to be the right person for someone like them.
Exactly. That's true. That's really true. I mean, like you said, or a robot, something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sure that's coming though, just so you know. Oh, Peggy prefers to not respond rather than to agree to their crap. And I actually think that's smart. Either don't acknowledge what they said and say something different, or just don't say anything. Just, okay. Gray rock with a twist, right?
Gray rock with a twist. That's right.
Yes.
Alyssa is saying, right, why do we care what mean people, she said, why do we care what mean people say? But then before that, how do you deal with letting go of pain caused by the verbal attacks of family members you can't get away from? So
if you can't get away from them, then you have to, this has helped me 100,000 bazillion times. That's an exaggerated number, but it's close. What I do is I remind myself as they're going off. I mean, I haven't had this in a while, but this has helped me with family members. I remind myself what they are, and I label their behaviors in my head. I don't say them out loud.
Right.
But as they're sitting there telling me insults about myself or whatever, I will look at them and listen. And then I'll think, I won't really look them in the eyes though, by the way, looking right here, or even right here, not in the eyes, sometimes right above their head, either way. They won't know why, but they'll know something's off. Anyway, but then I remind myself, okay, that's gaslight, and that's projection, and that's deflection. Whatever they're doing, I tell myself that in my head, because if it's a labelable instead of thing, a behavior you can label, it's not, it's because of the narcissism and not because of you, right? Because of whatever personality issues they have, even if they're not diagnosed, right? What their behavior is toxic, and it's not something that is directly connected to you at all. Really, they would do that to anyone standing in front of them who they felt that comfortable with. right?
Mhm.
You can test this theory too by talking to other people who have been close to them in the past or who are also currently close to them, and ask them if they've experienced this, if you're comfortable doing so, because I've done
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can see it in action if you listen to people's stories where they tell a story of a narcissistic person they're with, and then
Yes.
they tell a story of a narcissistic parent, and you think,
Yes.
wait, that narcissistic parent also had a spouse or a partner or someone, and
Hmm.
they treated that person the same way, and they treated their kid the same way. Oh, they treat everyone that way. It's
Yeah.
not personal.
Right. And
There was
when you
somebody
see,
said something here, it like kind of went with this. I have to find it again. Go ahead.
well, I'll tell you this. Samantha says it's amazing how horrible they are at seeing past their own ego. That is their Achilles heel right there,
Mm-hmm.
because of the ego, because they cannot see past it. Even if they sit there and they tell you to your face, I'm looking right past my ego right now. They aren't, because they can't.
It's so hard to do even when you're not a narcissist, right? You have to take a second. You have to be like, oh, this is, I'm taking it personal. I'm seeing this through my own lens. It requires introspection, self-reflection, and
Humility.
the ability to like move beyond that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
I like what Ellen said too. She said, when Peggy said, I prefer to not respond rather than agree. Ellen adds, yeah, same here. Watch them shoot themselves in the own foot. It's very satisfying, y'all. It's true. Good one, Ellen. Yeah. All right. Do you have one for us?
No. I was listening.
Okay.
I'm doing the like trying to read and listen.
Gotcha. Tiny little but still a lion says, yes, they almost always underestimate other people. Truth.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
And
it's the nature of it, right? How do you devalue someone without underestimating them?
exactly.
Mhm.
And dude, trust me, says, yeah, easier to sneak out of an abusive relationship by not showing all your cards. Make your plans to leave top secret without the abusive person knowing. I totally agree, especially when they, you know, I think especially when they are abusive, like uh, either physically or even extremely emotionally abusive and psychologically abusive. When they're, because if you know there's a chance they're going to try to stop you, or they're going to, sabotage your efforts or whatever,
Mhm.
definitely keep it to yourself until the last minute.
Oh yeah, keep it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Melanie Weiser is saying, your thoughts on a narcissist who blasted me on social media a while ago, unfriended and blocked me, has recently followed me on another platform. I'd block them.
Block them.
Block them. I mean, that'd be
100%.
my thought. That's what I do.
I would too,
I just
100%.
block them because there's no time for that in a day.
No, no.
No.
They're just trying to keep tabs on you so they can either make fun of you. Maybe they're even trying to hoover you back in. It's not worth it.
Mhm.
If they've done that to you once, they will do it again. Get the hell out of there. Sorry.
Right. And it depends on what you're talking about here. Like what, if it's just like
Yes.
your personal thing, they're keeping tabs. They're trying to stay one step ahead of you. They're trying to
Mhm.
know how, like if you're on vacation, they're going to one up you with their vacation or whatever,
Oh my God.
they're just,
Yes.
they're playing a game. Stop playing
Yeah.
by blocking them.
Yeah. They don't get to be, don't be their supply anymore. That's a source
No,
of supply for them.
exactly.
Mhm.
You've blocked that person, the platform they recently followed me. I can't find how to block on the new platform.
Oh, well, what platform is it? Do we know?
I don't know. I'm
Hmm.
sure there will be a reply.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Google it if you don't hear our
Yeah.
reply, by the way. They've always got answers. Okay. Um,
And then
let's
in
see.
that case, ignore them completely.
Right. And if it's a
Yeah.
public platform sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, she thinks they're trying to keep tabs.
Yeah. And if it's a public platform where they are able to see you, even if they're logged out, then just make it so you can't see them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because the fact is, unless you're completely locked down on all socials, like most people, I mean, I know there are some people on Instagram who have their private profiles, right? But a lot of people don't have private profiles on Instagram. It's a different kind of a platform, right? So I'm not saying it's Instagram, I'm saying whatever it is. But in most cases, you can at least block them under their username. And in some places, you can block them under their username plus all of their future usernames,
Yeah.
which I like. I think it's Facebook that does that one. But anyway, did you already read the one from Ellen about why do they think their opinion is so important, or from Ashley?
Yes, we did that one.
Yeah, we did that one. Okay. Okay. Micah says, I left my narcissist a month ago after previously dating him last year. and having left him for the exact same reasons. Trust me, they don't change. 100% Ellen agrees. Since, yeah, that's 100%. They don't change. They say they're going to change. They appear to change even sometimes. And they even do kind of show you some behavior modifications for a short period of time. But the minute they think their claws are fully sunk back in, they're back to their old ways, sometimes instantly. It's shocking and infuriating, actually. Yeah. Got one for us?
No, it was a lot of, I don't see
Okay.
the question or anything.
Well, I'll go on, and while you're looking, Dude Trust Me says projection. They did the thing. They did the thing, and they blame you for the thing that they did.
Oh
Consistently.
yeah, always.
Yeah. Or they say that, you started the argument when you know very damn well it was them. Like,
or they twist the argument into being something else so that it is something you did a fraction of, so that then they can like bring a, yeah. They're
for example,
like mountains out of molehills was what I used to say all the time.
It's
like,
true.
what?
Yeah. For example, let's say they promised they would do the dishes for you and they didn't do the dishes, but then, and you're like, hey, I thought you were going to do the dishes. And they go, yeah, but you didn't take out the trash 10 weeks ago that one time when you said you would. So this is obviously your problem. Like, why should I do anything? You asked me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then it becomes how lazy you are. That's the whole conversation. And you end up apologizing because they didn't do the damn dishes or whatever. Okay. Go on.
Oh, well, it's the deflecting
yes.
and diverting.
And that projection and deflection too. It's all the same. Yeah.
All the same.
Yuck.
Yeah,
same.
All the same yuck. Yeah.
It's the same yuck. 100%. You got one?
Oh, anyone deal with a narcissist snowbird? I don't know.
Snowbird?
I don't know what they mean. And additional issues. I don't know what that means. So maybe explain what that means, and I will read it again.
Yeah, it might just be a term we're not familiar with.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Samantha says narcissist blocks. Oh, go ahead.
It's a technical question on changing the name on YouTube. How do you change your name?
Oh, they're talking about YouTube. Okay, I thought they were talking about. I just remembered that some people don't like the term flying monkey, so I wondered if that was what they meant.
I don't know.
Okay.
Ellen has it. She helped. There we go. Got that.
What is it?
How to change a name on YouTube, make a new email and create a new,
I got you.
New name. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Helen, I mean, Samantha says, narcissist mocks me when I've told him I was scared because of his rage, invalidated me. The mocking. My God. Yes. I mean, and sometimes, like, especially when they're on a certain kick, they will be almost unable to speak to you with any sort of a normal tone. They might talk to somebody else, but they're like, hey, Lise, da-da-da. And then they look at you and they're, oh, da-da-da.
It's awful. It's infuriating. It's so childish that you can only avoid it for so long before you're,
you get tired and you just.
That's the whole point. It's meant to wear you down.
Yes.
So know that it's meant to wear you down. Let it come in and go back out. Ignore them.
And I really think, and I mean, you tell me what you think, but I think if you can get strong enough to carry on anyway, okay? And what I mean is, if normally you would get up and you would go walking or jogging in the morning and you stop doing that because they've exhausted you mentally, physically, or otherwise, do it anyway. And if they, what are you trying to do? Show your butt off to everybody in the neighborhood or something? Just be like, nope, just try to get some exercise and keep going. Don't let them stop you unless you know they're going to physically hurt you in the process. Just take the little BS and run it out or walk it out or whatever. What I'm saying is, don't let them stop you from doing your regular things. That was one of the biggest mistakes I've made.
Oh yeah.
I let them stop me from being who I am.
I think that is the biggest mistake I make in every situation. Like, I let things stop me from doing what I need for me. And then when you're with someone toxic, that's like 100 times worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting. And
it's exhausting.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So snowbirds are people. Oh, so you meant it in the real way of snowbirds. An older senior or someone, a retired person usually, who goes from a warm climate, from a cold climate to a warm climate for the winter. In what way does that affect you with how does that relate to Like,
Are you saying people that you see 6 months out of the year only, or something like that? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the
What the relationship is,
yeah,
or
what the relationship is. So,
a little more info.
can you ask that with a little more info? That would be helpful.
Yes.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
we have Tanya says help, but I don't see what she's struggling with. I'll go on to Joy really quick. Hey everyone,
Too
it's
much
Joy.
stimulation. She needs to rest. Oh yeah, she's having a rough day today.
Take your time,
Hang in there,
Tanya.
Tanya. Yeah.
Yeah. Joy says, hey everyone, it's Joy. I agree that if you know what you're dealing with, then sure, let them think you're ditzy, but don't do it if you're still in love and clueless. I agree with that. But see, here's the thing. When you're still in love and clueless, you're not even here yet. You know what I mean? When you don't know what you're dealing with, you're not sitting in this audience right now.
No.
That's it. Because nobody wants to think they're dealing with a toxic narcissist.
No.
And most of us came here after much other stuff, like research and trying different things, and maybe even counseling or therapy. And maybe when nothing works and you can't fix anything, and finally you run across one of our videos or articles that explains what you're dealing with, and your whole stomach drops because, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm dealing with. Then you come here. You know what I mean? This is not, people don't usually come here unless they are actively aware of what they're dealing with, or they are maybe one of the people that is being dealt with, which is never good. But mostly it's survivors who show up here, survivors who know, yeah, this is probably what I'm dealing with, or they can relate to the things we talk about. So while you make a very valid point, Joy, I think we're okay on that for the most part. But in the future, if you get into another relationship and someone assumes less of you, then definitely don't let them assume that, although I'm going to tell you a little bad secret about myself. Here it goes. So when I was in college, I hope she's not watching. One of my roommates had a VCR and she wanted it hooked up really bad, but she couldn't figure out how to do it. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to take the time to do it. I was a lazy person. I still am a lazy person. Anyway, so for the longest time, I didn't know how to do it. But then one day I really wanted to watch The Breakfast Club, which I had already seen 1,000 times. I knew every word to. And guess what I did? I just hooked it up, because it's not that hard to figure out how to hook up a VCR back in the day, And so, so then when she came home and saw that, she said, how'd you do it? I said, oh, so-and-so came over and did it for me. Why did I do that? Because I'm lazy. And I didn't want her to think I would know how to do other techie things later.
Well, yeah, that's smart. That's keeping your, here's the thing. We keep,
right.
It's just, going back to the first topic, what you just did, like spinning it back around, we have to learn to keep our things that are precious to us, our things that are important to us, our things that are like matter to us away from these toxic people's fingers, so that they cannot take them away from them, so they can't take them and twist them and use them against us. They weaponize things. They weaponize our good stuff, and we have to not, once you know you're dealing with someone toxic, and once, especially like I said, when it's someone not in your life, so a coworker, a person on social media, whatever, that you don't have to deal with all the time, just don't give them the information. Let them think you're stupid. Who cares? And right. And let them think you don't know how to plug in a VCR, and let them, explain it 1,000 times. Who cares? Like, ignore it.
Yeah.
Tina Marie is saying, it's tough to keep a smile on your face when you are at your children's school activities being ignited by your children, by your children because your ex has them, when you're ignored. Yeah. I was like, ignited. Wow. You're being ignored, but it is so hard. But here's the thing from the child's perspective, they're put in the middle, not because of you, because you're dealing with a toxic person. The child is forced to choose loyalties. You don't want that. Let them be with that other parent when it's that parent's time. Have a secret code or something with them, or like a wink or whatever. Smile, be present, so they know you're supporting them. Try not to take it personal, because the child is
in agony.
They're in agony. They're torn between two parents, and keeping peace so that they don't make toxic daddy or mommy mad, and to keep the peace in that household, and at the same time knowing they're hurting your feelings, it's torture for them.
Right.
And you can do your best to keep them out of the middle by not
Mhm.
engaging with them, but the narcissist won't.
It's really smart,
So
and
if
it's
you
true.
engage and if you say something, it gets more and more inflamed, the child gets more confused and hurt. So yeah, I think dealing with that personally, that is our approach.
So if it's an event, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, it's
Sorry. I just want to say this. If it's an event that you were required to like sit next to your child and do activities with your child, then I would let the other parent just handle it if you're not, if it's not your turn to be, to have the kid or whatever. But when the kid comes home or comes back to your home, do what Lise said, have a code with them, do something. But if it's something that you're watching from they're on the stage or they're performing or they're doing something that you don't need to be directly like, this is my kid with them,
right.
then go anyway and do exactly what Lise said. Just give them a little signal or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But I think if it's something where you're going to be blatantly like hung on the rack and everybody can see that your kid
Oh
is
yeah,
ignoring
that's
you,
horrible.
don't go.
Exactly. Don't go. Split the
No.
time, like
Mhm.
going when it's on your parenting time, going to those events only.
Yes.
And I know that's hard, and I know that feels like you miss half of things, but it's kind of the lesser of the two difficult situations.
You don't need to be publicly humiliated by the narcissist, and
And you
that's
don't need
exactly
your
what they're
children to
doing.
watch that and to
Exactly.
have to participate in it.
Participate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Parental alienation is ass, and
It's awful.
that's really professional, but it
And
is.
it's what they do, though. They're trying to win. They're
They
using
want
your children as they're playing tug of war with your kids.
right, and that messes with your kids' heads. And so,
Yes, it does.
you like my bio father just stepped back, and that made me very angry for a long time. But it wasn't. He could either fight with my mother or not, and he chose not. And I don't know that it was the right choice. I think he should have done something a little different. But she was vicious and wouldn't change anything. So I understand as an adult, probably right now at this moment more than ever than I did before, from that perspective. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that you should try to be present in their life on the times that you're allowed to be present. That's the one thing I think my person did wrong. But it's all water under the bridge today. So,
is it? Yeah.
I mean, well,
Yeah,
for one half of that group, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see here. So Jay says, will they ever be able to admit their, did I interrupt you?
No.
Okay. Okay. Jay says, will they ever be able to admit their lies or faults in a husband-wife relationship? I thought, right.
No.
Right. I thought I did have him caught. No way out. Somehow it was my fault. I'm a liar and I'm crazy. My friend, I'm so sorry that I have to tell you this, but that's how they all roll. If they can get out from, look, they, that song, It Wasn't Me, where they're like, I saw him banging on the sofa, wasn't me. So an encounter, whatever. Saw him banging on the bathroom floor. You know what I'm talking about.
Wasn't me. Yeah.
Wasn't me. Because this person literally saw
Yeah.
you on the ground doing the thing you were doing, and then you said, no, this isn't me. Wasn't me. Okay, that's how ridiculous that song is about a narcissist, okay? Because so at least the guy who was giving him the advice, that was narcissistic advice.
They don't take accountability. It's part of the yeah. Exactly. And they don't take accountability. It's part of the makeup. Whoa. I think we have some weird delay going on. I don't know if it's my end or your end. Sorry. I totally talked through you, but I didn't know until you came back in.
Totally okay.
Okay.
Totally okay. No, I think what I was trying to say is only this. If they catch you, if you walk into the room and you catch them in the act of something and you say, you're doing that right in front of me, they might say, no, I'm not. Or more likely in that situation, they will say, it's all your fault anyway, because you didn't do X, Y, Z, or you did X, Y, Z, even if it's something lame that you didn't really do. But they cannot take responsibility, and they will make up stories about what you did or did not do in order to make it your fault. So that's all. What were you going to say?
Oh, yeah.
Same difference.
Or like, I had an experience of having hard evidence of something and holding it for a little while and not saying anything until I was calm enough to present it with the evidence in hand. And I said, what's this and why?
Yeah.
Caught red-handed, they said, And you could see the wheels turning, like, because it was that, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know.
Because you're 7? I mean, what?
Exactly. And I said, you don't know. So you made a conscious adult decision to do this enough times where I have this, like all the evidence, right?
Right. Hmm.
And you don't know. And they
Right.
said, yeah.
Oh, my.
That was so you see, there's no accountability.
Right. I've
Nothing.
experienced a
Yeah.
similar thing once. And
Yeah.
this person admitted they were there, but they said that what I was told or what I heard or whatever wasn't true. And that I should know them better than that. And what an asshole I am, pardon my language, for not knowing that they wouldn't do that, even though I
Right.
was told they did it and I was showed proof they did
Exactly.
it.
Yeah. At the longer end of that story is what they told other people
Hmm.
was the reason this happened, whatever it was, is because I blah 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 blah. I
Right.
wasn't this, I wasn't that, I didn't do
You
this.
were snooping or you
I
were
was that. And
you weren't
then
offering this
how
or
did
yeah.
you get that information anyway?
Yeah. You know
Don't
what?
deflect. Yeah, don't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And they want blind trust and you have to believe whatever lie they tell you. And even I'm not here to tell you that even if you pretend to believe all the lies, they'll still find things to bitch at you about. Pardon my
Oh
language
yeah.
again.
So no, they won't. They won't ever. If they accept accountability for anything, it's short
Mhm.
lived. It'll be twisted later on, or you're never allowed to bring it up again. Yes,
Oh,
I did
right.
that. I did that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're hurt by my doing that. You're not I'm sorry I did the thing, or not oh my
No,
gosh,
right.
you feel remorse, but I'm sorry you feel that way. You know.
Yeah.
And
Sorry
then
you're complaining at me right now.
yeah. And then no matter how horrible the thing was, if you bring it up later, like, well, I can't trust you because remember? Oh, so you're going to throw that in my face again?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
it,
not good.
yeah,
No.
it's not real accountability ever.
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm running low on time, but can I grab one more question here?
Okay.
We
Yes.
have Samantha who says her 8-year-old son is in the fawning or appease stage. He does stand up for me to his dad. Also, what should I do as I find our escape route? How should I talk with my son to show him what's going on here? Okay. Probably your son knows more than you think already, and has his own opinions about it. So what I would suggest is that you begin by asking your son what he thinks in a private place where dad's nowhere to be found. Okay. I would start with that. What do you think about what's happening here? You know, and see what he says, or just let him talk. You know, do you want to talk about mom and dad's relationship? You know, how do you feel about dad? Whatever you think is appropriate to say. I know this much. I know that I have a now 14-year-old daughter and an 18-year-old son and a 25-year-old son. And so here's the
I know.
thing. What I know for sure is that number one, they always know more than you think about everything. Okay. And I admit to having intelligent children, but I'm sure that your son is also intelligent, right? They always understand more than you think, but there are certain things they don't get. And depending on what the father is telling him, on how much attention the father gives him, and how much the father lies to him about you, you know, I'm guessing that since he does stand up for you still, and he's willing to do the fawning appease thing, he's probably happy to get out. I would not say anything to him about leaving unless you know for sure he's not going to tell your husband, because the fact is,
I still wouldn't. Yeah, I still
yeah,
wouldn't.
right.
It's not, yeah.
At that age, yeah, no. Let it be, you know, you might tell him the same day you're leaving or something like that, which is, I know, really hard, but it might be the safest thing for you. The fact that he stands up for you, I would ask you, do you stop him, or do you like try to protect your husband from seeing that stuff, or what does your husband do? I would have a lot of questions for you around that, because if he's standing up for you, then he already has an idea that what his dad is doing is wrong. I mean, boys do tend to stand up for their moms, at least from what I've seen, even more than some girls. But my daughter, she would try to beat anybody up if they tried to get close to me, so in an inappropriate way. So I mean, she thinks so anyway. You know, so I guess it depends on. I'm going to assume that your relationship with him is strong enough that you can ask those questions. Maybe just ask some questions. You know, as you're working on your escape route, is probably the best time, and start to maybe prepare him without preparing him, sort of like, you know, what would it be like to live in this area? Or what kind of school? You know what I mean? Like try to just, I would just ask lots of questions, and the next thing you say is going to come from whatever he says, right? Like if you say, well, what do you think about dad? Well, I think dad's amazing. Okay, then you should just stop right there and let him think what he wants to think, right? But if he says, I don't like that when dad does this to you or to me or whatever, this gives you something to, validate his feelings. Number one, yeah, I know dad can be kind of hard to deal with sometimes, or I hear you, tell me more about that kind of stuff. Let him talk. Lise, what are your thoughts? Did I lose you?
Read the very first part again, please, of the.
Sure. She said, my 8-year-old son is in the fawning appease stage, but he does stand up for me to his dad too. What should I do as I find our escape route? How should I talk to him and show him what's going on here?
Okay, the fawning appease stage is not a stage; it's his coping skill. I think
right.
It's his
right.
coping
so
mechanism.
Yep.
And it could be his personal coping mechanism for his personality. That right now is he has found to work for him to keep himself safe and to diffuse things so that you're not getting your husband coming at you quite as bad if he's the one smoothing it out. So I would talk to him about it's like wanting him to learn. Okay, here's what I would want him to learn if it were my child. I would want him to learn that it's awesome to stand up to bullies and to protect other people. And also, it's not your job to have to do it all the time. It is not your, you're allowed to be your own person. And the conflict between two people like this, your mom and your dad, is between mom and dad. And that's not because of you. And you don't need to be basically you're not emotionally turning to him to be your savior. And he's not that you're doing that, but you know what I mean? Like in his eyes, because I talk to a lot of people who have had narcissistic parents through coaching, and I talk to a lot of people who were the peacekeepers and who were the saver, and they felt torn. They felt afraid of the narcissistic person, but not afraid for themselves, afraid for the family around them. And they become people who, okay, I'm not trying to wish this on anyone, but they can become people who attract more of it into their life later because they know so well how to deal with it. So it's like what Angie said, talking to him about like how this is not okay. How, yeah, you're right. Dad does do that. And that, how would you rather someone treat someone? And how would you, talk to him through that? I'd even find counseling or therapy for him if you can, if allowed, to help him with that piece. Cause it creates codependency in adults, so letting him be himself, that he doesn't have to, or at least if he knows that you're not relying on him for that. Does that make sense? That's healthy for him, to be like, I appreciate it. And I love that you are so brave and you're so caring and you're so this. And also mom's learning to do that for herself with dad. And, and hopefully if you're planning to leave, this will be short-lived. So.
Right. I have really quickly 3 things I want to read, and then we're going to go. Okay. Ellen C says, this is for you. She didn't label it for you, but I thought you'd like it. My grandfather used to tell me I was gaining weight, and I would pat his stomach and say, hey, I'm trying to keep up with you. I'm trying to keep up with you. Love it. That's a really funny comeback. And one more, let's see. Ellen C says, I've been out over a year, and it's crazy. That wasn't the one I wanted to read, though, but congratulations.
Samantha has more to her story if you want me to read it real quick.
Okay, but one more really quick first.
Okay, yeah.
When I was pregnant, they used to beep like I was a bus backing up, says Jay. When I would come into a room. They suck. Okay.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Okay, go ahead with that, because I've got to get off here in a second. Go ahead. Samantha.
Okay, yeah. Husband is directly bringing the children into the arguments and calls them in by name and tells them mommy doesn't want a family. I disagreed with her husband.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
Totally.
And I think that's abusive to the children, incredibly abusive to the children, not to mention you. That's still happening? Did she say it used to happen?
Yeah, she said that's what's going on. That's where the child is standing up for mom.
Okay. What I would do in that situation is I would stay as calm as humanly possible, even if sometimes I have to pinch my hand or something.
Oh yeah.
to not scream at somebody.
Don't
I
break your
would keep
tooth like I've done. Yeah.
right. Stay as calm as possible. Keep your mouth loose.
Yes.
Okay. And then literally I would come up with the best comeback in the whole wide world. Something I'm gonna come off the top of my head with this, so you're gonna have to, tinker with it. But something like look your child in the face and say, honey, you don't need to defend me. My actions and behavior are enough. You know who I am. You know that I love you. I would not even address the who's doing that. Okay. Who's saying the words to the children. I would simply address the child and I would say, hey, you know me. You know who I am. You don't have to defend me. He knows who I am too. He's just choosing not to, or whatever you want to say. I don't know your situation with the physical stuff. If there's any physical stuff,
get out. Yeah.
Okay. But if it's just psychological, which just psychological is not the right word, but if it's only psychological and emotional abuse, that's how I would roll. I would simply say something better than what I said, more eloquent. Think about it ahead of time and memorize it. Okay.
Something that isn't going to inflame the narcissist worse, but addresses the child.
Yeah, maybe even just because that person, just because daddy's saying that doesn't mean that's how I feel, or I don't feel that way, and I think you know that, but not in any way that incriminates or makes him feel obligated. But to say to him, honey, I know I appreciate that you're defending me, but you don't have to do that because I know who I am and so do you. And that's all that really matters.
Yeah. We know we know what family means. Yeah. That's
tinker with it, see what you can come up. But really it's about simply just being calm. I do tell other family, then that's what he wants from you, dude. He wants
it sure is. He's again playing tug of war and weaponizing your children.
Yes. And the only way to de-weaponize is to continue to be your amazing self and to say so. And to say, well, you know who I am. And you know that I love you guys. And so that's not really the truth.
Yeah, I love being your mom. I love being your mom. There you go. That's it. That's right. It's one version.
Yeah, I love being your mom, and I try to show you that every single day. Period. No.
And he's gonna, yeah, I love being. She sure loves it a lot. Blah, blah, blah. And you just let him look like a little tiny child.
Biznitch.
Yeah.
But it's true. And make sure you look your child right in the eyes when you tell them what you're telling them.
Yeah.
And try to just in that, and then afterward, when you have a moment alone with him, sit down and talk to me. What did you feel about that situation, that conversation, or whatever? It's ridiculous and childish that he's doing that. And I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and if it's at all physical or you are afraid it will be, you consider how quickly you can get out of this situation. If it's physical, get out.
I mean, like, really don't even worry about what they're saying. Just
don't even worry about
anything. Got a whole bunch of emergency numbers, yeah.
Start working on a plan. This isn't it. Yeah, that's awful for your kids.
Yeah.
And for you. Yeah.
Right. And Peggy, by the way, the reaction was narcissistic rage, of course, to which I smiled and pretended I didn't care because I was strong by then. Anyway, okay, Lise, I have to go. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
We're good. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Make sure you check the description for how to be notified of every stream, both by subscribing to my channel and Lisa's channel, which is also linked in the description, as well as our text numbers. You can text Lise Live, all one word, LISE, and or Angie Live, all one word, ANGIE Live. We will text you when we go live together or separately, and it's to 33222. Again, that's in the description below. And everybody, thank you so much. Thanks to our moderators, LNC, UNA, and Christine Schwartz.
And Bonnie.
Oh, and Bonnie, I didn't see her. Hey,
Bonnie's
Bonnie.
Here. Yeah.
Hey, girl. Hey. Okay. We'll see. I hope you're doing well, Bonnie. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week, and thanks for being
with us. Thank you. Bye. Have a good one.
Oh, wait, Lise. When's your next live stream over on your channel?
Thursday or Friday for sure. Maybe
just make sure you subscribe.
Maybe Wednesday. Just come on over. Scheduling. I need to get on a schedule, but it's
we're all working on schedules.
It's not my strong suit. Yeah. But I'm gonna post a video soon though. So
all right.
Head on over.
Stay tuned, hit the bell notification on both channels so you'll be notified.
Yeah.
Okay. See you soon.